through, unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of black talk radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. Go sis.
First things first. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Melina Abdullah. I am not Dominique DiPrima. I have the great honor of keeping her chair warm as she travels for these holidays. This is First Things First. We wake up this morning grateful for this land, the indigenous land in which we inhabit. We wake up this morning grateful for our ancestors, grateful for those spirits, those beings that brought us to life. We wake up this morning grateful for our community, grateful for each other. And this morning, I wake up especially grateful for all that is birthed through us, including my eldest child, Tandiwe Zarai Abdullah, who turns 21 today. Happy birthday, Tandiwe. Tandiwe means the loving one, and they absolutely live up to their name. I'm grateful that the Creator brought them home safely on Sunday from South Africa, where they've been doing their study abroad semester. And just got home. I'm also grateful for my nephew. Both of my mama's first two grandchildren, this is their birthday. So this is also Jair's 19th birthday. Happy birthday, Jair. And I'm saying that for the universe because I know neither one of them are awake at this point. But I'm saying that for the universe. Happy birthday, Tandiwe, who's 21. Let me just add, the first of the 7th generation of our family to be in this country. The first of the 7th generation. My great-great-great-great-grandmother is Rachel, and Tandiwe is the 7th generation of Grandma Rachel's descendants. It's also, November 26th is also the day that Mama Sojourner Truth transitioned in 1883. So I love that my oldest child is born on Sojourner Truth's transition day. And for a while, even before we knew that, Tandiwe actually, Sojourner Truth resonated with Tandiwe. And so Tandiwe, who if anybody knows them, knows is a very, very outspoken and precocious being, took the moniker Little Sojourner. And then we looked it up, and Sojourner Truth, this is her date of transition. So for all of those things, I'm grateful. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? I'm also grateful to be sitting in this chair and prayerful for Sister Dominique's safe travel. You are welcome to call me at any time during the show. We have a tremendous show for you. I'm really excited. Our phone lines remain open at 1-800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And let me just walk you through what we're going to be talking about today in our first hour. We have one of, I think, the most important thinkers and in its own sense, organizers, but really someone who motivates and mobilizes Black people around questions of finance and wealth. And I used to, kind of have an aversion to these folks who do these Black wealth management type of things because they felt like Black capitalists. And we know that in the words of Minister Malcolm X, our honored and revered elder, an ancestor, that you can't have capitalism without racism. So to be a Black capitalist is really buying into a system that's fundamentally oppressive to Black people, to people of color, to oppressed people all over the world. And so I was kind of having an aversion to all of these Black wealth people until I found out and began listening to Boyce Watkins for myself. And I just love this human being. I love that this question of wealth is tied to spirit. I love that he's not simply talking about individual advancement, but adopts the principle that we as Black people, and he always talks about Black first, that we advance, we rise and fall together. And so this is a collective empowerment kind of process that we're engaged in. So in our first hour, we get to talk with Dr. Boyce Watkins, and we're going to be talking about not only Black wealth and not only what the course ahead looks like, especially given the transitions that we'll be making in January 2025, but also what's required and what's ethical when we talk about finances, how the world works. One of the things I really love, and if you're not following Boyce Watkins Finance, you should, is he's been talking about, he never talks about how you should vote, right? He doesn't talk about that, but he has talked about ethics and what campaigns and candidacies and electoral office means for us and how we incorporate ethics. And one of the things that he's been exposing is that throughout the course of this presidential race, there's been massive amounts of money, billions of dollars infused, and in some ways that's been invisibilized to us. And so what we think is vibes is actually paid for by candidates, namely when we look at the Kamala Harris campaign, that many of the folks that we thought were just excited about Kamala Harris were actually paid for that excitement. So we'll be talking with Dr. Boyce Watkins in our first hour. In our second hour is another of my favorite people on the planet. Sister Jan Williams will be talking about Black Xmas, and we're going to be talking about Black Lives Matter grassroots season of Black Xmas, when we build Black, buy Black, and bank Black, and divest from white supremacist capitalism. And then lastly, in our third hour, we'll be talking with Lamika Castillo, who's a longtime organizer with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, and the sister of Brandon Boyd. Tierra Boyd is joining us. You'll remember that just a week ago today, Brandon Boyd, the single Black father of 4, was seeking help, support for a mental health episode. He went to the church in which he was raised in Long Beach and was gunned down by Long Beach police, which he called for himself as he was experiencing that mental health break. So that's what we have coming up. Thank you for riding with me for the next couple of hours. And of course, we're taking your calls, 800-920-1580. Let's go to our first call real quick, Miles. What's up, David?
Yes,
Dave,
how you doing today?
good. How you doing, brother?
Yes, I would like to give a shout out to Dwight from Compton, but I wanted to tap on something for a few seconds, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
The reason why Kamala Harris probably lost, the only thing she really tapped on was abortion, and I guess turned every Black woman against a man when Black women still could get abortions, even though Donald Trump in office, why she still get to go to her white husband. But, I mean, she didn't really lay out a plan for her policies.
Well, Brother David, I don't know if you paid attention to, and I didn't really do a good job of introducing myself, but I ran for Vice President of the United States with Dr. Cornel West. I was his running mate, and it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal time. But I think that what you're raising, the point that you're raising, is a point that we made over and over throughout the campaign, that you don't run for president based on vibes. You run based on policies and vision for this country. And I think you're absolutely right that we didn't really get a very clear picture of what Kamala Harris was trying to do. What were her tangible policies? And the only time we saw policies, a policy agenda, is after she kind of berated Black folks and was forced to roll out a policy platform for Black folks, which was really her all peoples, like she all lives mattered it, right? And then said, but this will be beneficial to Black people. So I agree with you that there weren't enough policies laid out, and her entire campaign, in my view, was based on I'm better than Donald Trump, not based on what she would do. And I think you're right that that's what cost her the election. So appreciate you for calling in, Brother David. And we are going to move forward in the next voice that you'll have joining us is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're on with First Things First. My name is Melina Abdullah. We'll talk to you when we come forward.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We're thrilled to announce that the Dear Future Wifey podcast is now available on the Urban One Podcast Network. This show, hosted by Latiris R. Whitfield, explores the journey of discovering and rediscovering love and relationships. With over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, Dear Future Wifey has become a prototype for discussions about love and relationships. Learn how to rediscover love, heal, and have faith in relationships. Go to urbanonepodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm grateful for the victories we won. I could go on and on and on about
Good morning. Good morning. We wake up grateful, grateful. So let's always start our mornings with what are we grateful for? What are we grateful for? My name is Melina Abdullah. I am grateful to be sitting in the chair of the Queen of Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Grateful for her friendship and leadership. Grateful for the way that she shows the world what's happening and helps us to arrive at our own conclusions and think critically about the world around us and compels action. I'm grateful for the way that she does that and grateful that she is sharing her space with me this morning. I'm also grateful for our guest for this hour, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Boyce Watkins is really a king of finance, right? The Black Business School. Many of you probably follow Dr. Boyce Watkins' work at Boyce Watkins Finance on Instagram. You might be familiar with his Black Business School that every single morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, he talks with folks about all of the things that we need to think about in terms of Black wealth. And Dr. Watkins, I haven't given you my interpretation of the way that you do things, but what really resonates for me is how you look at wealth holistically. And I was really, really fortunate to join you for the All Black National Convention, which was a phenomenal gathering in Chicago. But I love the way that in all of your writings and research and commentary, you talk about wealth from really a spiritual perspective and also from a community perspective. And one of the things I said before you joined us is that I love that you don't simply advance a Black capitalism that's tied to a white supremacist capitalism that requires the oppression of Black people and tells this falsehood about individualism. You talk about Black first, and that Black people rise and fall together, and how do we collectively improve ourselves and grow and build kind of new visions for what Black people are. And so I'm grateful to have you join us this morning, Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Mm-hmm. Good morning. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that amazing introduction. It's kind of funny, you know. I'm sitting here listening to you talk, about the things that we do, and I thought it was kind of ironic because I have an equal amount, or actually an even greater amount of respect and admiration for what you do, because you're just such a powerhouse, and you're so clear about what you stand for. And let me just tell you, you and Dr. West, y'all did something epic in the election. And I was happy to defiantly tell all my friends, you know what, I wrote their name in the ballot. I wasn't playing. And so bless you. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's an honor. I never asked, did you actually vote for us? But I was appreciative of all of your support. And one of the great things about this campaign has been developing relationships. And so the relationship that we're building is something that I'm extremely appreciative of. And I'm wondering for our listeners and viewers, if you could just talk a little bit about your approach to Black wealth. What is the Black Business School, and how it's really, again, what really resonated most for me is it's not just about getting ahead as an individual or as a family. Like, you hear a lot of that, and that really bothers me, because what about the rest of Black people, right? It's easy to get in and do well for yourself, but I talked in the opening, today is November 26th, which has special meaning for me. Today is the day I became a mom. It's my oldest child's 21st birthday. It's my first nephew's 19th birthday, but today is also Mama Sojourner Truth's day of transition. So she passed on November 26, 1883. And one of the things that she talked about a lot is freedom has to come collectively, right? Freedom has to come collectively for Black people. I feel like that's something that you build in to what you do. Can you talk about that approach to wealth, that really Black people collectively have to think about wealth and economics as a tool for Black empowerment?
Well, it's interesting. The whole idea of kind of doing what I do now really came when I was on the faculty at Syracuse University. And here I was, I'd gotten my doctorate in finance, and there weren't a lot of people like me in that field. Most of the individuals in my field were white males who, pretty much think like a Donald Trump, that kind of mindset. And so I was different. I didn't really fit into the culture. And I would sit there and I'd teach 30 students a year. Very few of them would be black, maybe one or two. And the black ones that were able to come to Syracuse, they're probably still paying student loans off 20 years later. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this in a more meaningful way. So this thing called the internet comes along, and I'm just sort of in my mind doing the math and saying, okay, if I can scale this, maybe instead of teaching 30 people at a time, I can teach 30,000 or something. And that led to the rest of the journey. And so the reason I'm very passionate about it is because I noticed very early, and I think most of us understand, that the number one pain point for many of us as black people in terms of what really stresses us out on a daily basis, what makes life hard, what puts pressure on us is financial. Like, for example, just the fact that when I grew up, most of the people that I knew in my family had to get up and go to a job that they hated every single day, working for somebody who didn't treat them very well. And so to me, I said, well, if you're trying to be free, maybe freedom starts with, well, what are you going to do with your time that day? How can you say you're free when someone says, well, if you're free, then why don't we go to the movies? Why don't we go to the park? You say, no, I got to go to work, right? So we live in this crazy capitalist society where they've trained us to spend more time with our boss than we spend with our own kids. And I think that that's very unnatural, very unhealthy. There are lots of studies that show that the microaggressions, the tiny little racial paper cuts that we experience on a daily basis at work, that kills us early. And so that was what led me to realize what financial freedom does. And the thing about financial freedom, to me, Dr. Abdullah, is that you don't have to be a capitalist to be financially secure and financially free. Who wants to be a capitalist? Capitalism is, and I know capitalism very well. I know capitalism as well as a man knows his ex-wife. Capitalism, unfortunately, is built around extreme amounts of greed and exploitation, and ultimately, at its limit, leads to slavery. And that's what happens all around the world, because most of us don't have a choice in terms of what we're going to do with our time that day. And so, but I think financial freedom, what that does, which is most important to me, is that it doesn't, it's not something that you do so you can go around and control and oppress other people. You just, it gets money out of the way so that you then have access to all the things that are more important than money, right? When the money's out of the way, then you have access to spend more time with your family. If the money's out of the way, you have more access to doing the things that are going to promote your mental health and your physical health, right? When money's out of the way, you can pursue things that you're passionate about instead of having to do things just because somebody's paying you an extra $1,000 a month. So that's what my passion toward finance really came from. Money in itself, just by itself, is honestly a little bit boring to me. You gotta give it some meaning for it to really resonate.
That's right. That's right. So we're talking about financial freedom. We're talking about what that looks like and why that's important for Black people to be free overall. We're talking with Dr. Boyce Watkins much more when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Morgan Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. The Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration is planning to measure radiation levels in D.C. ahead of the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. Thanksgiving travel is already underway, with AAA predicting around 80 million people venturing at least 50 miles from home between today and next Monday. Rainy and snowy weather is expected, so patience is recommended. Walmart is rolling back some of its diversity initiatives, pulling some LGBTQ-related merchandise and shutting down a nonprofit that funds programs for minorities following conservative criticism. And Queen Latifah is hosting the 47th Annual Kennedy Center Honors on December 8th. The event will air on CBS on December 22nd. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers could not handle a very efficient and physical Baltimore Ravens team last night at SoFi. Baltimore beat the Chargers 30-23. 212 yards rushing for the Ravens, who made 3 fourth-down conversions. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh is now 0-3 against his brother John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach. The Boston Celtics made 22 three-pointers last night to cruise to a 126-94 win over the Clippers in Boston. The Celtics snapped the Clippers' 5-game winning streak. The Lakers are back in action tonight in Phoenix. The Lakers have lost 2 straight. Tennessee State is the only HBCU school that earned a spot in the 2014 Division I AA football playoffs. Tennessee State, a co-champion in the Big South Ohio Valley Conference, has a first-round game at Montana State Saturday night at 7:15. ESPN2 will have live coverage. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 12/2/24.
Looking to improve your situation? LA County is here to help. Free Wi-Fi can help you find job opportunities, stay on top of your health, and connect with vital resources. Whether you're seeking employment, healthcare info, or support services, the internet can open a lot of doors. Don't let the digital divide hold you back. Find your connection at libraries, parks, and community centers. To learn more about these resources, visit lacountyandU.com. That's lacountyandU.com.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Dorothy was a waitress on the promenade.
Dishwater blonde, tall and fine.
She got a lot of tips. Look, we can wake up in the morning with Hezekiah Walker, but coming in quickly must be some Prince. That's a ballad of Dorothy Parker by Prince. And that is another little gift for my oldest child, Tandiwe. Favorite song. That's how you know you raised him right, when a 21-year-old is a Prince fan. My name is Melina Abdullah, blessed to be sitting in the chair of the Queen of Radio. Sister Dominique DiPrima is traveling for the holidays. This is First Things First, and I am in conversation with Dr. Boyce Watkins. We're talking about financial freedom. We're talking about, we're going to get into a conversation about financial transparency in the midst of these elections, because he's been talking and writing a lot about that. But Dr. Watkins, I'm scrolling your feed and I love this quote from you. The greatest act of rebellion is building wealth in a system designed to keep you poor. And you mean that in a really kind of beautiful way. It doesn't mean that you become a capitalist, but it does mean that we think about financial freedom, as you were talking about. You know, financial freedom empowers us to engage in spirituality, to engage in, you know, our own artistic work, when we're not tethered to a system. Here's another quote from you. You weren't born to pay bills and die, yet they convince you to trade 5 days of freedom for 2 days of rest your entire life. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it's designed. Dr. Boyce Watkins, thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. You know, one of the things that we do every morning in the Black Business School is we have a class on what I call financial consciousness. And that came to me because I started realizing that what capitalism does to our society is they lean on the idea that you're not really going to think too deeply about the way the system is structured and sort of the rat race that they put you into. And I figured, you know, rather than understanding these things and figuring them all out on our deathbed, the earlier you can understand how they work so hard to manipulate us from birth, the better off you'll be, because you're making a conscious choice about where you want to be in this society. And so, you know, so that term financial consciousness, I'd never seen a class taught on that, but I just am a believer that if we just sit back and really look, you know, in the mirror and look around and say, like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? Who said this was important? You know, I think we would come to a lot of conclusions that we might not normally see if we're so busy being inundated with one task after another that was kind of pre-assigned to us. You know, when I grew up, Dr. Abdullah, I saw my parents getting up and going to work every day. I heard things like, you know, if you don't work, you don't eat. I remember just kind of thinking like, gosh, we spend a lot of time at work. And I did the math and I said, if you spend 40 hours a week at work and you're doing that 50 weeks a year, that's 2,000 hours a year. Over a decade, that's 20,000 hours. Over 50 years of working, that's 100,000 hours of time that you've given to what? And think about this, right? What did you give it for? Because think about this. There are people who've worked 50 years who actually have less money now than they did when they started working.
Right.
It's crazy to me. You know, that you literally have newborn babies being born in the hospital that have a higher net worth than people who've been working their whole life.
Right.
That's a hustle. I mean, if that's not pimping, I don't know what is, you know?
And we are being pimped. We're being pimped, right? Yeah.
Yes, we're being pimped. You know, it's like, you know, when you dissect it, you got to go back. You look and you say, oh, well, what happened here? Oh, I know. There's this thing called student loans, right, that a lot of us took out, right, which gives us a ticket to go get a job working for someone else, which doesn't pay us enough money to repay the student loan. And so as a result, what you have is in the Black community, wealth, with all the education we're getting, all the so-called progress we're supposed to be making, why is our wealth going backward?
Right. Right.
You know, like our wealth shouldn't be going backward with all the hard work we put in. We literally are the saviors of the entire economy. I mean, I think that we're the smartest canaries in the mine. We work harder than anybody. We're incredibly loyal. In every election, they always say, thank you, black women, for saving us again, right? and so we're there for everybody, and we make everyone rich except ourselves. And I think it's because we're kind of sort of submitting to ideas that just don't make any logical sense.
Right.
So
right.
that's why consciousness is critical if we're ever going to solve these problems.
Right. We're talking with Dr. Boyce Watkins, and when we talk about financial freedom for black folks, what we're not talking about is black capitalism. We're not saying replace white capitalism with black capitalism, but what I'm hearing Dr. Watkins offer is let's refuse to allow ourselves to be pimped. I just read something yesterday on how black people saved Cadillac, right? In the midst of the Great Depression, we saved the Cadillac car company, right? Black people are saving everything. We're saving elections. We're saving white capitalism. What we're not yet doing, but we're encouraged to do, is save ourselves, save our black collective. And I think that the work that you do with the Black Business School is really, really profound. One of the things that you've been posting about a lot, and I appreciate it and caused me to kind of look at things, because I don't just accept what people say. I say, let me look it up for myself. Of course, I trust you. You've become a really trusted source of information. But I wanted to go back and look at it myself as we talk about the impact of capitalism and white supremacist capitalism in particular permeates every single space that we're in, including our political system. And you were very clear in the midst of the election that you're not telling people who to vote for, but what you did do is offer a critical lens. And after the election, what came out is that the Democratic Party, and I'd love to know if there's information about the Republican Party, but the Democratic Party and the Kamala Harris campaign spent massive amounts of money buying influence that we thought came because people were excited about Harris as a candidate. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really interesting to me when as I mentioned earlier, I voted for you and Dr. West because I just love y'all and respect you. I'm not a Democrat or Republican, not into any of that nonsense. But it's funny. Everyone was sort of warning me, as they always do, whatever the scare tactic of the month is, and they're like, oh, they're going to destroy democracy if we don't vote for Kamala because she's black, allegedly. Then they're going to destroy democracy. And I said, you don't understand. Your democracy was already kind of ruined when they let money into the process. Money is very powerful. I'm an advocate for our people having as much money as we can get in an ethical way, but money taints democracy. Like, we live in a capitalist democracy where capitalism is the big brother, democracy is the little brother. The big brother beats up the little brother and takes his lunch money every single day of the week. And you see this on the Republican side. Now you literally have two hardcore capitalists pretty much running the government now, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And this is inevitable. Eventually this is going to happen because money just ruins the process. It doesn't allow the cream to rise to the top. People like yourself and Dr. West were far more qualified to run the country than any of the candidates. But money, right? So here's the deal. On the side of black people in our really interesting, almost abusive relationship with the Democratic Party, where there's been a lot of benign neglect, a lot of disrespect, where a lot of loyalty was lost. The Democrats gave away a lot of black loyalty because they took us for granted for so long. You have these scenarios where in every election, not only do they try to scare us into doing what we're told, but then also it's unearthed later that a lot of these individuals that were very prominent in speaking, on behalf of Democrats and kind of, yelling at people and telling them you got to do this, they were getting paid. Here's the thing. Here's the dilemma, though, with that, Dr. Abdullah, is, look, there's $1 billion that the Harris campaign raised. That money's going to get spent somewhere. I don't think there's anything wrong with that money going into black hands. I don't think they do enough to distribute some of that money to black media outlets, things like that. The big problem, though, is that there has to be transparency. I think that with our community, loyalty really means something. Right. And when you say things, we kind of believe you, and we're really emotional, so we kind of believe that you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, not because you're getting paid. And that's just not the case. You have the Al Sharptons and the Roland Martins and guys like that who portray themselves as black leaders, but really they're just basically political bosses, right? And really underpaid political bosses. But so they go in, they negotiate, they say, we'll deliver this many black votes for you, just give us some money. And that is, you could almost call that a type of corruption, and it happens all around the world. I mean, that's how they go and steal all the oil from Nigeria. How is it that Nigeria has more oil than almost every other country on earth, and they got so much poverty? Well, because they go in and they pay off the leaders so they can go rob the people. And that's something that we should not accept. And I think that there should have been transparency. Roland, Sharpton, all these individuals, when they sit down with these interviews where they're trying to sort of create the impression that this is some objective journalistic sort of thing. No, you need to go ahead and tell people, like, I got paid to do this. And I think people would understand that. So that was the issue. That's where it became, I'm going to go ahead and call it corruption because that's what it was.
Right. So I think, was it Roland Martin that got $350,000? And I don't know how much Al Sharpton received, but when you see them going hard for Kamala Harris and saying that, she's going to save us, save black people, she's going to save, the democracy, that might be how they feel, but they also received really substantial checks to say that. And when we come forward, we're going to talk just a little bit more with Dr. Watkins before he has to start his Black Business School. And we'll talk about how you can tap into that every day. We're talking with Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're welcome to give us a call at 800-920-1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Medicare open enrollment is here, and it's a time you can make changes to your health coverage. Yet, watch out for enrollment and marketing scams. Remember, Medicare will neither call you nor solicit your business. Guard your card. Never give out your Medicare number to strangers. Unsolicited calls, door-to-door visits, and emails are prohibited. Take your time. Don't feel pressured to make a quick decision. Report scams to our California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. Tips to help improve basic steps for building a budget in 2024. Building a budget can help you achieve and reach your financial goals. With a budget, you can keep track of your spending, avoid and get out of debt, limit overspending, pay bills on time, and build solid savings habits. What's the best way to get started? Figure out how much to set aside for expenses, like rent, mortgage, bills, groceries, and entertainment. Understanding your past financial habits can help you make the proper adjustments for your budget. Adjusting to a budget can take time as you work to find the right balance, but keep working on it. For more financial health tips, visit chase.com or stop by a local branch. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Ready, set, shop. The Black Friday sale at Ulta Beauty is on. Up to 50% off the best gifts now through November 30th. Shop Morphe eyeshadow palettes, hair tools like Chi, and MAC foundation and lippies. And ready for this? Starting Tuesday, November 26th, snag $12 mascaras from brands like Fenty and Tarte, plus $12 lippies from brands like NARS and Kylie Cosmetics. So don't wait. Head to Ulta Beauty today. Get all the best gifts, all at Ulta Beauty.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
And we are on with Dr. Boyce Watkins. We got just a little bit of time left with Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's been talking about financial freedom, talking about financial transparency and corruption in elections, and also talking about how we get free and use economic tools as a way, as a means to get free. I know we got a few callers who want to talk to you really quickly. Dr. Watkins, Carl is calling in on line 3. What you got for us, Carl?
Hey, good morning to both of you. Have a good day. How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey,
how you
look,
doing?
I'm great. Hey, look, this guy named Scott Turner, he works over there as Secretary, Department of Housing and Urban Development, ex-football player. Should we ride with this guy? I mean, what is it for us black folks in this guy? Is he going to be his own boss? He's a Republican.
So we got one black nomination. Dr. Watkins, what you think?
I don't even care about that, to be honest with you. I think that kind of identity politics doesn't do anything for us. I think it's really whether or not people support him or not should come down to whether your values align with his values, not whether or not you got the same skin color. I don't know if that would even apply here. Also, if you really want to talk about Trump and the kind of guy he is, he's a guy that tends to appoint loyalists to the cabinet. I imagine that Turner got that position because he's willing to kind of do whatever Trump wants him to do. So I don't look at him and say, okay, I expect something that he does to significantly impact my life. I just honestly, I saw it and I said, okay, it made sense only to the extent that I think when we simplify the issue of race, we get to this idea that Trump is so racist that he must dislike all black people, and that's just not consistent with history. He has a lot of black friends. But he has black friends he agrees with, and the ones he doesn't agree with, he doesn't like them. And I see the same thing on the Democratic side. If you're black and you don't agree with them, then they don't like you. But if you're black and you're in alignment, then you're okay. So I didn't even understand the whole conversation about who's racist and who's not. I think that black people have to fight for ourselves, period.
That's right. That's right. All skin folk and kinfolk, and they've always used black faces on white supremacy. Always used black faces on white supremacy. Dr. Watkins, I think it's really important that as you talked about transparency and corruption, and we talked about the payments of the Kamala Harris campaign to social media influencers, to people who purport to be media, who are supposed to kind of offer this transparent conversation and legitimate conversations. We also know that both Roland Martin and Al Sharpton, and I just looked it up, that Al Sharpton received two $250,000 donations from the Harris campaign to his nonprofits in September and October. When we look at that, when we look at the ways in which influencers have been paid really massive amounts of money and entertainers have been paid massive amounts of money. Some people think that we are bashing Democrats, but one of the things I think that you're offering is that the Republican Party has the same terrible racist legacy, especially when we think about Trump. And you said, he supports black people or will get down with black people that agree with him. We know what he did even decades ago when we talk about Dr. Yusef Salaam and what he did with the Central Park now exonerated 5 and calling for the execution of these black children. So he is not a racist because there's corruption in the Democratic Party. He is not oppressive because we're criticizing the other side. I think what you're doing is exposing both of the main two parties. Is that right?
Yeah, but I get this all the time, Dr. Abdullah. People say, well, why do you talk about the Democrats all the time? But you never talk about what the Republicans are doing. And I say, well, because the Republicans are not receiving 80-90% of the black vote. The Republicans are not harassing me. When I tell them I'm independent, when I tell black folks that I'm independent, I have so many people that say, oh, you're a Trump supporter. And I'm like, but I didn't say that, right? And so here's the deal. The Democratic Party owes black people big time. We save them in every election. We are the last major voting bloc. We give them more loyalty than any group of people on the planet, and they have not repaid their debt. So think about it like this. If I go to work for you and I give you 40 hours of hard work and you owe me $2,000 and I come to you and I say, hey, man, you owe me. I did the work. Where's my check? You can't just say, well, what about the guy down the street? He didn't give you no money. How much did he give you? I gave you $500. He didn't give you nothing. Well, because he does not owe me. I do not work for him. If I was his employee, I'd be knocking on his door. So black people have been, let's just be clear, we have been the political employees of the Democratic Party, and they owe a debt, and they don't want to acknowledge it, and that's why they ended up losing this election, in my opinion.
That's a great point.
It's their fault, not ours.
That's a great point. That's a great point. One of the things we keep saying is it's time to disrupt the duopoly. Disrupt the duopoly. I know that you have to run. How can people follow your work, Dr. Boyce Watkins?
Well, it's easy. They can join us for class even this morning if they want to. If you text the word morning, MORNING, to the number 87948. So you could text morning to 87948. I will text you an invitation to join us in class. And that's the word morning to the number 87948. Or you can also go to my website, boycewatkins.com. And we do stuff in the Black Business School every day. We're focused on the wealth. We're not into the shenanigans. We know we have a job to do. I know we can do it. We got great scholars like yourself and many others that are out here that are doing the work. God bless you for that. We will win. Our people will rise. We cannot do anything other than be successful. I know this.
That's right. That's right. That's Dr. Boyce Watkins. You can also follow him on Instagram at Dr. Boyce Finance. Dr. Boyce Finance. Thank you so much, Dr. Watkins. When we come forward, we're going to continue the theme of really flexing our economic power as Black people, and we mean it in the most revolutionary, non-capitalistic way. Right? We're entering a season that we call Black Xmas. Black Xmas. Black Xmas was initiated by Black Lives Matter grassroots following the murder of John Crawford inside a Walmart store in Beaver Creek, Ohio. If you remember, John Crawford was a young 23-year-old Black father who was brutally, viciously gunned down in the Walmart store aisle where he was holding an airsoft rifle that was their store property. He was checking out their merchandise. An employee called police. Police came in and murdered this Black father in the aisle. And so we said that, when Brother Malcolm talks about you can't have capitalism without racism, we also have to think about how capitalism uses police to protect its profit and destroy Black life. And so how is white supremacist capitalism using police violence, and what must we do? So what we said we have to do is withdraw our dollars from white supremacist capitalism, and instead we build Black, buy Black, and bank Black. Build Black, buy Black, and bank Black. In just a moment, we're going to be talking with my sister, Jan Williams of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. Jan Williams is an organizer with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles who's been really, really instrumental in our Black Xmas work, including going to the malls and telling Black folks, look, we can shop in Africatown, we can shop with each other, or we can not shop at all and use those dollars to build up Black organizations, to donate to important work. Those are the things that we can do. When we come forward, we're going to talk with Sister Jan Williams about Black Xmas. That's coming up right here on First Things First.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
The Lakers have lost 2 straight. Tennessee State is the only HBCU school that earned a spot in the 2014 Division I AA football playoffs. Tennessee State, a co-champion in the Big South Ohio Valley Conference, has a first-round game at Montana State Saturday night at 7:15. ESPN2 will have live coverage. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
All right. Thank you, Prince. Money don't matter tonight, but money does matter. And how you use your money, how you flex your economic power is really, really important. Are you going to feed white supremacist capitalism, or are you going to use your dollars to build black, buy black, and bank black? Are you going to feed a system that is predatory and steals black life for the profit of the white ownership class? Are you going to build black community with the dollars that you do have? So joining us for this conversation is Sister Jan Williams. Sister Jan Williams is an organizer with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. She's instrumental in our Black Xmas campaign, which runs from November 29th, Black Friday, through January 1st. It's one of my favorite seasons. It was initiated in the name of John Crawford. You'll remember that John Crawford was brutally murdered inside a Walmart store when police were called on him for holding Walmart store merchandise. He was doing absolutely nothing wrong. Yet Walmart, which is the embodiment of white supremacist capitalism, stole the life of this black father, this 23-year-old black father, and used police to do it. Sister Jan Williams, you've been leading much of our Black Xmas work for the last several years, and we are grateful that you woke up with us this morning and grateful to have you here on First Things First. Jan Williams.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you. So start off by telling us, what is Black Xmas and why are you so into it?
Well, can I wish my niece, Tanjiwe Abdullah, a happy birthday?
As long as you don't sing, you can wish her a happy birthday. As long as you...
Oh, I wish I could. But listen, when you listen to the playback on Saturday show, I sang on the mic.
Oh, no! We are sorry. We are sorry. We're sorry.
We're playing all kind of jams, and we were vibing, and so it wasn't my fault. But Tanjiwe Abdullah, oh my gosh, my heart just fills with joy just saying her name. I'm so immensely proud of Tanjiwe. And the journey that they are taking right now. So just wishing Tanjiwe Abdullah a huge happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Love you so much.
Thank you. You know, they're not up yet, but we will make them listen to the playback that this whole show is honoring their life. They're turning 21. So we're going to have a mama and daughter drink tonight is what I committed to. Auntie Jan can come too if you want to, because there's nobody. Yes. Look, Jan can do all things except sing, including is one of the funnest people to go bar hopping with. Jan, there's nobody like you to go hang out with.
Especially if you don't mind getting kicked out the bar.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. So,
that's right.
Yes. Yes.
So, Jan, you are again leading our Black Xmas campaign in Los Angeles and really helping to coordinate the work of all 39 chapters of Black Lives Matter Grassroots around Black Xmas. Can you tell us a little bit about why you were so invested, pun intended, invested in Black Xmas and demonstrating and strengthening who we are as a collective, as a Black collective around economic power and how that economic power can be used and has been used to usher in greater freedom and greater power for Black people?
Yes, thank you so much. And it's also an honor to follow Dr. Boyce Watkins, who I am actually a student of. I did take his online course of the Black Business School, and he taught me I learned so many fundamentals of just making sure I have life insurance for my kids, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that I was able to do as far as building and investing in my family and making sure that they're not inheriting another generation of debt, but leaving them seeds for them to build for the next generation. So honored to follow Dr. Boyce Watkins. I think that that's a great transition from him talking about how we can build wealth in the Black community. And you as the visionary of Black Xmas, how we should withhold our dollars and invest in ourselves, right? By building Black community, building our families, buying Black, right? We know that it's mostly Black folks who support Black-owned businesses. So if we're not there to invest in our brothers and sisters who are working to build community in our community, no one else is going to do it for us, and buying Black. So did I say that right? Build Black, buy Black. Okay, and then banking Black, moving our money away from these folks like Wells Fargo who got their blood money off of our ancestors, right? Who literally sold our bodies. We need to move our money out of those systems who exploited us, who sold me. Yes, they sold me a car at a hyper jacked up interest rate, right? And moving our money out of those banks that exploit us and instead invest in Black-owned banks like One United here in Los Angeles and creating new traditions with our families. We don't have to every year be out here wasting money that we know we don't have, but let's create new traditions and figure ways for us to support and build our own families, especially in this system, in this world that we're living in now.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And one of the things that I appreciate about this conversation with you and with Dr. Watkins is this is not a replacement of white supremacist capitalism with some version of Black capitalism. We don't simply want a Black CEO or another Black billionaire. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is how this economic system, and I was, Sister Jan, I was a little, I don't know, I was reluctant, that's the word I'm looking for. I was reluctant to really engage in conversation around Black wealth and Black economic power because I feel like a lot of those spaces are simply spaces where they try to lure us into becoming Black capitalists. But I think Dr. Watkins' space and the work that we're doing with Black Xmas reminds us that there has to be an economic prong to Black freedom struggle. We have to say, no Walmart, no 24-hour fitness, no Home Depot. We will not use the dollars, the limited dollars that we have, so that you can get richer off of our backs. We are going to be conscious about the money that we spend and the money that we use. Because when we talk about banking black, that don't even cost you nothing to bank black, right? We're not even saying spend some money, right? To withdraw your money from Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Chase, many of those corporations got their first profits, as you said, was blood money, was money that they got from chattel slavery, right? We talked about ancestors early in the show, right? Think about honoring our ancestors. How do you honor your ancestors if you allow Chase Bank, who got their first profits from chattel slavery, to use your dollars, right? To use your dollars. So I really appreciate that this is not about black capitalism. This is about building black, buying black, banking black for the purposes of the transformation of this world, right?
Right. That's right. And if you think about how vulnerable Black folks are because our community does not have substantial wealth as a collective, right? Driving down the streets of Los Angeles, we see that we're the ones that are most unhoused. So continuing the system the way that it has been, where we are the worker bees and they're the ones that are profiting, is a system that we must disrupt. And we have to do that by taking our own power dollar by dollar, because, that's about what we have right now, right? We heard Dr. Boyce talking about, and not just him, but we all know how we've been servant to a Democratic Party that has not served us back. So we have to disrupt the system that we've been feeding, and we can do that by engaging in this short campaign called Black Xmas from Black Friday, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving, all the way to the new year, and just start to do something different for that 35 days it is. And it's just a different feeling in your soul when you get to, I don't know how can I explain it? Just like knowing that you're doing something to make a difference just practicing that muscle, right? It's like getting up and doing a few sit-ups every morning. I don't know. Eventually you might get that six-pack or whatever, but practicing that time during during the time of Black Xmas, of withholding our dollars and investing in each other.
And it has much quicker results than the sit-ups. I've been doing sit-ups and I'll have a 2-pack, right? But when we come forward, we're going to talk about, Baba Keeley always teaches us to celebrate our victories. So I want to get into what it means to divest from white supremacist capitalism and what that looks like tangibly and the impact that has. We're on with Sister Jan Williams from Black Lives Matter Los Angeles talking about Black Xmas. More when we come forward.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Bad Ash Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
We're thrilled to announce that the Dear Future Wifey podcast is now available on the Urban One Podcast Network. This show, hosted by Latiris R. Whitfield, explores the journey of discovering and rediscovering love and relationships. With over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, Dear Future Wifey has become a prototype for discussions about love and relationships. Learn how to rediscover love, heal, and have faith in relationships. Go to urbanonepodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin Ultra Strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Well, I'm not quite Dominique DiPrima, but I am Melina Abdullah, honored to be warming Dominique's chair as she travels for the holidays. And we are on with Sister Jan Williams of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, talking about Black Xmas, the season that goes from November 29th through January 1st, where we build black, buy black, and bank black, and divest from white supremacist capitalism. So just really tangibly, Sister Jan, we talked about how we do this in the name of John Crawford, but we can also think, and I'm grateful that you continue to invoke Sister Riddell Jones, who was killed right up the street, accused of stealing $80 from a pharmacy. We should also invoke the name of Yvette Henderson, who was a black single mama accused of shoplifting at Home Depot and killed in that parking lot. We can think about Albert Ramon Dorsey and Dennis Todd Rogers, who were both black members of the 24-hour fitnesses where employees called police on them and had them gunned down inside the club, right? And so all of these ways in which white supremacist capitalism is complicit and participatory in the murders of black people, but also in the exploitation of black community. And Sister Jan, one of the first things that we did, and one of the things that I love how you lead, is making sure that our community understands why we're doing what we're doing and that they take action. There used to be, speaking of Walmart, a Walmart on Crenshaw Boulevard in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. Sister Jan, can you talk to us about what happened to that Walmart?
Yes. So y'all remember the Walmart inside the Crenshaw Mall? So one of the things that we used to do is we would hang out over in the parking lot and talk to black folks about why they need to boycott Walmart, how exploitive Walmart is of black labor, how they use prison labor, which is how they're able to keep their prices so low, how they force small mom and pop businesses. If folks who have lived in Los Angeles for any long period of time would remember, there used to be a lot of black-owned businesses in our community. But after that Walmart came, little by little, they did start to close down. But also, I just wanted to lift up John Crawford's father was on the show on Saturday, and as they're working to sue and get some justice, some semblance of justice in his name, the system is working to protect Walmart as opposed to the person, the human that was murdered inside the Walmart for shopping in Walmart. You know, he was shopping in Walmart and was murdered because he was shopping in Walmart. How can we continue to support Walmart of all these businesses out here?
And there's a film, I know we're talking about Black Xmas, but there's a film called Walmart. It's old, but it's important. Walmart, the High Cost of Low Prices. Walmart, the High Cost of Low Prices, which is a really important film. And Sister Janet, it affirms what it is you're saying. So I know we have our own observations and experiences, and there's also data to support it. And I know some people, want to always validate Black experience. This is one of the ways in which you can validate our experiences, that we know that there's data that shows when Walmart comes in independent businesses shut down. When Walmart comes in, independent businesses shut down. And so, there is the murder of Black people like John Crawford, like Brother Steven Tyler up in the Bay Area was also killed inside a Walmart store, right? But there's also the impact on the entire community. So divesting from white supremacist capitalism and really kind of targeting, oh, wow, that's a pun. I didn't intend that pun. Targeting, right? Targeting corporations like Walmart, who are the worst of the worst, right? Really is important and does have an impact. So I think we should never, and I'm proud to say, I'm not a purist on many things, but I'm a purist on a few things, like I don't eat pork. Well, I'm a purist also on that I have never bought anything. I've never shopped at a Walmart. I've never given Walmart 1 penny of my money, and neither have my children. Because Walmart is the worst of offenders, is the embodiment, if you can be an embodiment as a corporation. They do exemplify what it means to be white supremacist capitalist and white predatory capitalism. So Walmart is an absolute no. Walmart is an absolute no. And thank you for lifting that up. But one of the things that you also do starting on Black Friday is you do a lot of engagement with Black community. So can you talk with us about the work that you do going to malls, going to places where people may not be aware of how spending Black dollars with corporations like Walmart really fuels them and enables them to create conditions that are harmful to Black people?
Yes, so we go out to shopping malls and engage and educate Black folks that we see on their way into the shopping malls and talk to them about our Black Xmas campaign that during this holiday season, I'll literally say, girl, what you on your way in there to get? Oh, I'm looking for, I'm going shopping for my grandbaby's Christmas gifts. Well, look, this is something that you can do instead of that, right? And so I educate them about the Black Xmas campaign. How about we withhold our dollars from this holiday season? We don't need to be out here shopping just because, right? And if you must buy something for someone, let's go over to a Black-owned business. Let's be intentional about that and invest in a Black-owned business. But there are also these Black-led, Black-serving community organizations that do work to uplift Black folks. How about you invest that $50 in one of these organizations that you may care about instead of going to spend $50 for some toys for your grandkids? How about you invest in the Fernando Pullum Center so that they can take some music classes?
That's right.
So we talk to folks, and one thing that I always notice every year, and we've been doing this, I've been doing this since 2015. Dr. Melina, you've been a visionary of Black Xmas preceding that, is that people are excited to see Black Lives Matter out in the community. They're like, oh, I didn't even know y'all were out here, or we didn't know what happened. So it's also an opportunity for us to talk about the work that we do out here in Los Angeles. So we meet people where they are, out shopping. We try to catch them in the parking lot before they go in, and we redirect them to our Black Xmas website, where blackxmas.org, where you can find a load of Black-owned businesses that serve the Black community in different, if you're looking for a restaurant, a plumber, clothing, jewelry, a nail salon, you can find it on blackxmas.org. So we engage and educate the community in places where we know they're spending money. And this year I'll be more intentional at going to other places as well where Black people gather. They have big events, where Black folks are just out hang out, and I want to talk to them there as well.
That's great. That's great. So just to be clear, the first thing that we do is disrupt white supremacist capitalism. I love how you do that, Sister Jan. And you're right. People are always happy to see us when we come to these malls. My mom does a lot of behind the scenes work for Black Lives Matter grassroots. So has prayer circles for us every single Wednesday, is an advocate for us within, kind of more seasoned community. My mom's in her 70s and has conversations among her peers about Black Lives Matter. But one of the things that she loves doing is going to the mall with us and talking to people about not spending their dollars with corporations that do not support us. And sometimes we have candy canes. We always have stickers and flyers. And we talk with people about why you shouldn't spend your money in these corporations. And I think folks are really happy to be redirected. And one of the things that you do very quickly, Sister Jan, is point out the Black-owned businesses that are in the malls, right?
Yes, we look for the Black-owned businesses inside the malls, and we talk to them about who we are. We will make a video for them to talk about where they're located, what services they provide, and we will post their business on our Instagram so that it brings awareness to other folks that they are here. And I think you could share the experience about the lady who does your nails. She was almost going to close, right?
Yeah, Eleni.
Yeah. I still have not been able to get an appointment with Eleni.
Well, Lenny just had another baby, and you're not going to get an appointment with her anytime soon.
Our calendar's always blocked off, is what I know.
Right. But folks can follow BLM Los Angeles, and every single day of Black Xmas from Black Friday through January 1st, we post a Black-owned business of the day. And the story that Sister Jan is telling is of Eleni, who does my nails and has a really beautiful nail salon. It's private. There's not a bunch of people in there. You can go in and it's just you and her. She'll give you some champagne or a Diet Coke, and you'll sit there and, this beautiful sister does your nails and has good conversation. And Eleni was about to close her shop. And when we posted her on Black Xmas, it's been years now. Her shop remained open and was so popular that until she went on maternity leave, that you could not get an appointment. You had to book like a month in advance. And we think that that's really, really beautiful in helping to stabilize Black-owned businesses that are beneficial to Black community. When we come forward, we're going to talk very methodically about those three tenets: build Black, buy Black, bank Black. We're on with Sister Jan Williams of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles talking about Black Xmas.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Morgan Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Walmart is rolling back some of its diversity initiatives, pulling some LGBTQ-related merchandise and shutting down a nonprofit that funds programs for minorities following conservative criticism. American Airlines contractors at Douglas International Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina, are on strike. Service workers are striking over unfair labor practices and poverty wages. The average cost for a full Thanksgiving meal is 5% lower this year. The report from the Texas Farm Bureau cited a big drop in the price of turkey, suggesting there are plenty of birds, but demand is down. And Tiger Woods says he won't be playing in next week's Hero World Challenge, a tournament he hosts in the Bahamas. He is still recuperating from a major back surgery in September. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Chargers could not handle a very efficient and physical Baltimore Ravens team last night at SoFi. Baltimore beat the Chargers 30-23. 212 yards rushing for the Ravens, who made 3 fourth-down conversions. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh is now 0-3 against his brother John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach. The Boston Celtics made 22 three-pointers last night to cruise to a 126-94 win over the Clippers in Boston. The Celtics snapped the Clippers' 5-game winning streak. The Lakers are back in action tonight in Phoenix. The Lakers have lost 2 straight. Tennessee State is the only HBCU school that earned a spot in the 2014 Division I AA football playoffs. Tennessee State, a co-champion in the Big South Ohio Valley Conference, has a first-round game at Montana State Saturday night at 7:15. ESPN2 will have live coverage. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Whether you're going over the river and through the woods in the capable Silverado 1500, getting the choir to church on time in the 3-row Traverse.
Thank you.
Or driving cross town to deliver your famous Cajun-spiced holiday turkey in the Equinox EV, America's most affordable EV with a 315-plus mile range. Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 12/2/24.
Thank you.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Realized that she was new to love, naive in every way. Every schoolboy's fantasy she was. That's why he had to wait. If he poured his heart into a glass and offered it like wine, she could drink and be back in time for the morning paper.
And you are listening to First Things First. My name is Melina Abdullah. I'm sitting in for the one and only Dominique DiPrima today, and I'm in conversation with one of my favorite people on this earth, Sister Jan Williams. We're talking about Black Xmas, which is the period from November 29th, Black Friday, through January 1st, New Year's Day, where we build black, buy black, bank black, and we intentionally withdraw our dollars. We refuse to participate in white supremacist capitalism that steals black life. It is also a really fun and exciting time of year for me, because when we say we withdraw our dollars, I mean that means we boycott white corporations. We don't spend not one dime, not one dime at Walmart, not one dime at Target. And y'all going, how do you boycott both Walmart and Target? It can be done because we've been doing it, right? So we don't spend not one dime with white corporations. Instead, what we try to do first is shake off this frenzy that they try to whip us into. Sister Jan, they started on the Christmas commercials in September this year. There are Christmas decorations up all over the place. A whole airport is full of Christmas decorations. They're talking about Black Friday sales at the beginning of November. And what they're trying to do is whip us into this frenzy of thinking that we have to be consumers. But the first tenet of Black Xmas is Build Black. Can you tell us about what Build Black is?
Sure. Building Black is about building up our Black community and helping to invest in these Black-led, Black-serving community organizations that serve our community. So if you care about supporting women who are trying to survive domestic violence, right? You can make a donation to the Genesee Center. If homelessness is an issue that you care about, we have a Black-led organization called Los Angeles Community Action Network that work on policy to help get Black folks housed. We could if you care about our students' education, right? We have the Students Deserve, who is led by Black youth and who actually organized to divest from policing and criminalizing our youth and instead invested in a Black student achievement program in Los Angeles Unified School District. So now we have $125 million annual investment directly into the needs that serve Black students. So if you care about that and want to support that work, you can invest in Students Deserve as opposed to wasting money that we know that we don't have, right? They always talk about our buying power. Right? We don't invest. Think about our investment power. We got power to use those billions of dollars or whatever that number is that they're always tossing around. Think about what that number would look like if we invest in each other, because no one else is investing in us. No one else invests in Black folks but Black folks. So it's our duty to do this work. So we must build Black community by being together and investing in each other. Buying Black is
well hang on, let's do Build Black a little bit longer, because I think one of the things that's really important that you offered is we can withdraw our own dollars and we can invest them in Black-led organizations that are transforming communities, including Black Lives Matter Grassroots, including Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. And we can also kind of think about how to be intentional in this holiday season, right? When you're both giving gifts and receiving gifts. So I just want to elaborate on what you offered. If you care about young people, yes, we want you to make sure you give a donation to Students Deserve. But if your mama is a retired school teacher, like my mother is a retired elementary school teacher, she doesn't love anything more than she loves children. And so if she believes, if your mother believes in liberatory education for Black children, then instead of buying your mother a sweater that she doesn't need, you can donate in her name. What a beautiful gift, right? What a beautiful gift to say, Mama, I didn't buy you anything. I know you talked about too much junk in your house anyway, but here's a card. I want you to know I, in your name, gave $50 or $100 or whatever you normally spend on your mother. I gave that to Students Deserve, and that is the gift that I'm giving you this holiday season. If your brother is always complaining about homelessness, as we should all be outraged by what's happening to our unhoused folks, and those of us who are not unhoused, who are housed, that's also a tentative position. Right? We don't know that we'll always be housed. If you believe that housing is a human right, then donate to Los Angeles Community Action Network and say, here, brother, I know this is a concern for you. I want you to know that I donated to LA Can in your name. And then on the reverse, what can we do to also encourage our brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and anybody who loves us to build Black rather than buying us a bunch of crap? I just got through packing up this closet I got in Tandiwe's room. I was trying to prep for them coming home. And I kid you not, we had 2 carloads of stuff to donate because I still had, like, you know how at birthday parties you had a little gift bags, right? I still had the kids' gift bags full of crap. My kids are 21, 18, and 14. Why do I still have gift bags from their Angry Birds birthday parties, right? Because it's a bunch of crap you don't need. But stop buying crap, right? Stop buying crap and instead use it to build Black community. Can you talk about how we can encourage our folks to also give us gifts that are meaningful rather than stuff to fill up closets for over a decade?
Yes, it's creating these new traditions with our families, right? So for me, for my family, my grandmother is turning 85 this year. Her birthday is on November 29th. Due to gentrification and all of the other things that have happened to Black folks, we don't live close anymore. So we don't normally have the opportunity to get together for the holidays. But because it's her 85th birthday, we're definitely going to be together this year. And so I'm going to have the conversations with folks ahead of time. Like, hey, these are some things that we can do instead of buying a bunch of Christmas gifts. You know, my grandmother, like you just shared, she doesn't need anything. More than anything, what she's going to enjoy is seeing her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. That's what she's going to enjoy. And let's talk about gathering those dollars that we would have spent and finding a way to invest in our family, right? So not being afraid to have that conversation ahead of time with your family, that let's disrupt this and let's create some new traditions. With the younger folks that are coming up, you don't have to give into this system of white supremacy, capitalism that tells you that you need to spend money that you don't have with corporations that don't care about you. Instead, be intentional and invest in yourself, invest in each other. So BLM, one of the things that we have done in Los Angeles is that we have gathered a lot of those organizations in one spot. So you can go on blackxmas.org, click on the LA chapter and find organizations that are Black-led and Black serving that you can make a donation to. We also have holiday cards that you can, we have them. If I happen to see you, we can give them to you, but you can also order some cards where you can say, instead of buying me something, will you donate to this organization in my name? So that's one thing that we can do to help build a Black community. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, that was great. That was perfect.
We just be talking, sis.
Yeah. And I think that was a great, it's a great resource at blackxmas.org that you can print your own holiday cards and then write in where you want your gifts to go. So for me, if anybody thinking about giving me a gift, rather than buying me something, I just told you I cleared out a closet. So I want to keep that closet empty, right? I would rather you donate in my name to BLM Grassroots. And so you can print those holiday cards. Anybody can do it for themselves. Go to blackxmas.org, click on resources, and then you can print your own holiday cards and write in where anybody who's contemplating buying you a gift, where they could donate instead to help build Black. When we come forward, we're going to talk about this Buy Black and why it's not replacing white capitalism with Black capitalism, why it's something different. We have more with Jan Williams coming forward.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha!
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Become a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Get free and confidential information on immigration and citizenship. Visit lapl.org/NAI to find your nearest library or call us at 213-228-7390. That's lapl.org/NAI or 213-228-7390 and start your path to becoming a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Call 213-228-7390 or visit lapl.org/NAI.
With reported hate crimes rising in recent years, California has responded through outreach efforts across state government and in collaboration with community-based organizations for the launch of CA versus Hate. This non-emergency, multilingual hate crime and incident reporting hotline provides an anonymous reporting option for victims and witnesses of hate acts reported in 15 different languages through the online portal and in over 200 languages when calling the hotline. Report anonymously by calling 833-866-4283, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or online at any time at cavshate.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Areva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Areva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
And you are listening to First Things First. My name is Melina Abdullah. I'm glad to be keeping Dominique's chair warm as she travels. We're on with Sister Jan Williams talking about Black Xmas. We've been talking about building Black, but we also know that under Black Xmas are two other tenets, buying Black and banking Black. Buying Black, to me, is the funnest part of all of this, right? Because if the kids want to stop, if I don't feel like cooking, there's no Taco Bell during Black Xmas season. No Taco Bell during Black Xmas season. We do know that the Krispy Kreme. Taco Mel. We got Taco Mel, not Taco Bell. If you haven't had Taco Mel's shrimp, their shrimp burritos, whoo, you missing out on life. Way better. We can't even say Taco Bell after we said Taco Mel, right? So finding out those places, knowing that you can get a much better sweater at Nobody Jones than you get at Target or Walmart or even Macy's, right? Knowing that did you know that if your kid really does need a new skateboard, there is a Black-owned skateboard company called Rad Black Kids. Did you know if your kid's skateboard needs new wheels, you can take it right over to Neighbor's Skate Shop right in Africatown, also known as Lamert Park? Did you know that as we are boycotting Starbucks, and we are boycotting Starbucks for many, many reasons, including their participation in the genocide in Gaza, right? It's better to have Haroon Coffee has way better coffee than Starbucks. You will never even think about Starbucks again. South LA Cafe got way better chai tea lattes than Starbucks. And so there's all these places that you can go, to support Black-owned businesses. Sister Jan, can you talk about buying Black?
Yes, and then you bring up South LA Cafe, and it makes me think about how they're also an organization that gives back to community, right? They you go there and you see that South LA Cafe is all about also investing in South LA, employing folks, and as well as you see Black Lives Matter banners all around their store. And so just thinking about South LA Cafe, they're a much better option than Starbucks, and they actually do invest in community. But also buying Black. Do you know that there is a Black-owned gas station in Watts that you could go to? And yeah, it may be a bit out of the way if you don't live in Watts.
But you can go there on your way to shop at the Black-owned grocery store in Compton, right?
You can. Yes. You can go to Hooper's Shell Station on 120th and Compton Avenue, and then go down the street to the grocery store, the grocery outlet down on Rosecrans. And you can round it off before you get on the freeway, come back to Hawkins Burgers if you're a meat eater, and get one of the best burgers in the city of LA at Hawkins Burgers, right? So be intentional about this buying Black, and also sharing those things with other folks so that other people know about it as well. But buying Black, again, we make sure that we post a Black-owned business. So if you know of a Black-owned business that we should promote that we haven't yet, go ahead and email. What's our Instagram?
BLM Los Angeles. You can DM BLM Los Angeles.
Yeah. So on Instagram is BLM Los Angeles. You can email us at emailblmla and suggest a business to us that we could go to promote. But we also want to make sure that we are promoting Black-owned businesses that are serving Black folks. You don't want to walk into a business and not see Black folks working. Right. So it's like, I thought this was a Black-owned business, but you don't see any Black faces in that spot. Right. So you want to go to a space that we like to promote businesses that are Black-owned and Black-operated. Right. So
and so we vet the businesses that we post are businesses that we vet and vouch for. So these are not commercials. We call them like testimonials. Right.
Right. And then also a business that I've patronized. So I'm not going to send you to a business where I didn't even like the food myself.
Right.
You know, if I didn't enjoy it, I'm not going to make you come over here, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think we discovered this Black-owned Thai restaurant. It was maybe 2 years ago, Gitti Thai up on Slauson. And we order from them whenever we have some of our little team meetings. We like, what do you want, Thai food? And then we order from Gitti Thai, which is a Black-owned Thai restaurant. Because sometimes, you know, you get a little tired. I love soul food, but I don't want it every night, right? And, you know, sometimes you want Thai food or you want Mexican food, and there's Black-owned versions of that, and so we can do that. I love that it's vouching for them. And then the other thing is, if you're looking for something, blackxmas.org is a tremendous resource. If you need a massage, right, there's also services listed on blackxmas.org, and we profile service companies as well. Is that right?
Yes, yep. And also services regular day-to-day services, tax services, what else do we need?
Plumbers.
Services for our house,
Yeah.
gardeners and stuff like that. All of that is on our blackxmas.org, blackxmas.org. And I'm saying this for my grandma because we had to have a couple of years. She saw Black Xmas as me taking Christ out of Christmas. No, we're bringing Malcolm X into it and bringing in some fundamentals of building Black communities. So I just had to say that. Yeah, so it's Black XMAS. We're bringing some of the fundamentals Malcolm X taught us into the holiday season.
Right. blackxmas.org. And then you mentioned if you have a Black-owned business that you want to be profiled, what do folks do?
So you can email us. It's email blmla@gmail.com. Email blmla@gmail.com. So you spell out email blmla@gmail.com, and someone will respond to you. Or if you want to hit us up on the social media, I'm not on social media that much, so I think on Twitter is BLMLA.
Mm-hmm. On Twitter, it's BLMLA, and Instagram is BLM Los Angeles. If you DM us there, we do not do commercials.
Nope.
We do testimonials. So we got to know that what you're saying is right. So if you have terrible quality or terrible service, we're not going to let you just promote. We have to go and experience what it's like. We're not asking you to give us anything, but we want to go and we will buy a burger and see if your burger is really good. We will go and shop in your store and see what your service is like. And if you don't have Black people there, if there's no Black owner to talk with us, we're not going to promote it or profile it. Is that right?
That's right.
And you got just 1 minute, Sister Jan. We got just 1 minute for you to wrap it up for us, because we know the third tenet is Bank Black. We talked about that a little bit, moving your money. What else should people know about Black Xmas?
Don't be afraid. Create new traditions with your family. We do it 1 year at a time, and then make it a muscle that you're doing it all throughout the year. But start these 35 days from Black Friday till the new year, buying Black, building Black, banking Black, and creating new traditions for your family, and do it throughout the year and make it a regular practice.
That's right. Grateful for your work, Sister Jan Williams. And again, the website is blackxmas.org, blackxmas.org. Don't spend that $1 with white corporations. Instead, we build Black, buy Black, and bank Black. When we come forward, we're going to be talking with the family of Brandon Boyd. Brandon Boyd was the Black father of 6 who was murdered by Long Beach police a week ago today. And we're going to be talking about what justice in his name can look like. That's coming forward right here on First Things First, KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Morgan Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Walmart is rolling back some of its diversity initiatives, pulling some LGBTQ-related merchandise and shutting down a nonprofit that funds programs for minorities following conservative criticism. American Airlines contractors at Douglas International Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina, are on strike. Service workers are striking over unfair labor practices and poverty wages. The average cost for a full Thanksgiving meal is 5% lower this year. The report from the Texas Farm Bureau cited a big drop in the price of turkey, suggesting there are plenty of birds, but demand is down. And Tiger Woods says he won't be playing in next week's Hero World Challenge, a tournament he hosts in the Bahamas. He is still recuperating from a major back surgery in September. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Chargers could not handle a very efficient and physical Baltimore Ravens team last night at SoFi. Baltimore beat the Chargers 30-23. 212 yards rushing for the Ravens, who made 3 fourth-down conversions. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh is now 0-3 against his brother John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach. The Boston Celtics made 22 three-pointers last night to cruise to a 126-94 win over the Clippers in Boston. The Celtics snapped the Clippers' 5-game winning streak. The Lakers are back in action tonight in Phoenix. The Lakers have lost 2 straight. Tennessee State is the only HBCU school that earned a spot in the 2014 Division I AA football playoffs. Tennessee State, a co-champion in the Big South Ohio Valley Conference, has a first-round game at Montana State Saturday night at 7:15. ESPN2 will have live coverage. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.